Hey guys, how's it going? ItZMuRdA here, coming at you with a patch note overview. I am a day late, so I apologize about that. It is December 19th today, 6 days from Christmas. This is the patch note overview for game update that went out yesterday on December 18th of 2014. I just got home from vacation, had an awesome time, well rested, and really excited to get into to PlanetSide with this patch. A lot of cool features going on. Sorry for the background noise. We've got all sorts of crazy things picked up by our awesome microphone over here. But anyway, without further ado, I will run through the notes with you, give you my feedback, as well as show things off in game where applicable. So the first thing, and definitely one of the biggest features of the patch, and even kind of a whole new gameplay mechanic that has been added, is the wieldable knives and new types of knives. So a few different things here. I'll read through this portion first. Basically, any knife that you have, the default knife or any of the ones that you purchase, can now be wielded by actually either hitting a key. I believe it defaults to the number 8 in your gear slot, or by holding down your quick knife button. So if you had that on a mouse button before, or F, or one of the more popular binds for your knife button, you can hold that down to access your knife, and you'll actually take it out. And that's cool because you get to actually see knives. So now that they have more customizable knives coming out, you can actually see it for more than a split second when you jab somebody. But also has some additional gameplay components added to that. In general, as it says here, a wielded knife can swing faster than the actual quick knife. The quick knife is a fast jab where you get one jab in to try to finish off your opponent or something like that, but if you actually have the knife equipped, you can do follow-up jabs faster than if you were to spam quick knife, for instance. It also apparently has adjusted hit detection to be more precise, which is certainly a plus, as long as that's working properly, since knives have been wonky in the past with hit detection and client side and whatnot. They can also now get headshots, as well as you'll see an impact on whatever surface you're hitting with them. And then there is also a new knife that has been added to the game, which I will, I'll show off a little bit of everything here. So if I'm running around with my gun, and I press my either number 8 will bring out my knife, and I'm actually holding it now, and I can actually swing it like this. And you'll notice that this swings a bit faster, and actually have one of the new knives out, which is a slower knife to begin with, but nonetheless that's still faster than if I was to jab my quick knife button over and over while I have another weapon out. So if I want to hold that down, it'll jab once, and then it'll equip the knife, and then I can just do follow-up jabs with it, either using my knife button or using my left click button. And you'll be able to tell that you can get those headshot kills with knives now, which used to be kind of a weird art form before. Like I said, I'm running the new Carver, which is the NC version of the new knife. You can see in stats right here, it's a little bit slower, 53 RPM instead of 63 RPM that the other knives have. The IC actually says it's 60 RPM. I don't know if that's a bug or if that's intended to actually be slower as well. But these knives will swing faster, but they'll do less damage in general. Basically, I guess the way to look at it is 3 tiers. You can have your quick jab, where you're firing on somebody and then you just jab them real quick, and that's how it's always been. Or if you're an infiltrator or somebody sneaking up on somebody and you want to knife them, you can equip your knife first, jab twice, and get a faster kill that way. Or if you're using one of these new knives like the Carver for NC, you can actually use your alternate fire button. Mine is bound to X. I don't remember what the default is off the top of my head. I'm sorry about that. And it'll actually activate the knife, which will cause an animation to play. You can see it vibrating a little bit, as well as a sound to play that people can hear, both the activation as well as kind of like a hum in the background. And what that does is basically make them a one-shot kill at that point in time, which I think is pretty ridiculous. I'm sure there'll be situations where you can't one-shot somebody, like if they maybe have like medic or heavy stuff going on, but you're definitely going to get a one-shot headshot, and you should get a one-shot body shot in most situations as well. I was actually running around with it briefly as an infiltrator in a base with a lot of stuff going on, just kind of sneaking up behind people and popping them in the back with it. And I won't say it's overpowered yet, but it's definitely extremely viable, especially if you're playing infiltrator, to run around with one of these knives. The activation on it is low enough of a hum or a distraction where I think a lot of people aren't really going to going to notice it, and you're able to just one-shot jab them in the back or what have you. So that's pretty interesting. You may want to pick up a new knife for that purpose. That being said, unless you are running around with it equipped and toggling it on, which by the way, if I switch to my gun for instance and then I switch back, it's back in the normal fire mode. I do have to toggle it back on each time I switch to the knife, but if you leave it out, it stays in that fire mode. You just can't keep switching back and forth, and then it'll be in the weaker mode unless you toggle it back on each time. But anyway, pretty cool stuff nonetheless. Adds a completely new dynamic to the knife gameplay, especially for infiltrators and things like that. What I was going to say though, the new knives are not exactly a no-brainer, since they do attack slower. So for all intents and purposes, if you're just running, you know, say heavy assault or light assault or something like that, and you're not actually planning on having your knife out and you're just going for the quick melees, you may still want to run with you know, a default knife or one of the other knife options, as you're going to have a slightly lower reaction time on that knife if you're only pulling it out for the quick knife. But if you find yourself playing Infiltrator, Infil Stalker Cloak, or in a situation where you're going to be running around with the knife actually equipped, then you're probably going to want to go for the new knives where you have the option to get that one-hit kill. Enough on the knives for the time being. Another huge new gameplay element, as it's really the first instance of artificial intelligence in a way in PlanetSide 2. No stranger to PlanetSide 1 players, a Spitfire turret, now available for engineers in place of either their previous AI or AV turret. It automatically engages hostile infantry within 50 meters. They play a very distinct sound when they do engage folks. I have it equipped right here. Equip it just in your loadout like you would any of these turrets. Place it down like you would any of them, and it'll take it upon itself, of course not in VR because I'm in VR, to start engaging any targets within 50 meters. It'll, or maybe it's trying to engage targets. Is it going to shoot that person? Who knows? I should have done a rehearsal for this. Anyway, it makes a pretty obvious noise when it locks onto targets. It's actually kind of funny if you're in a base with a lot of them going off at the same time. You can hear them. They are pretty weak in terms of dying. Almost killed it in just a couple rounds that I had left in the ACX-11 there. But they are an interesting alternative for somebody like me, who, if I am playing engineer, I don't really want to sit in my own turret most of the time. I can just drop them down as additional lines of defense. They don't do a whole lot of damage. Most times, you know, if you're getting hit by one, you can turn around and kill it or take cover or whatever. But they are definitely an additional layer of engineer toolkit utility, as well as kind of the first real instance of pure AI beyond like mines and things like that. But nonetheless, that's in the game now. Let me know what you guys think, for better or for worse. I personally haven't had any issues with them yet, so I don't mind them, even though I'm not somebody who plays NG or uses turrets all that often. Moving beyond that, we've also got some customizable profile banners that will show up, if you're familiar with other FPS games that do similar things. They'll show up on your death screen when you kill somebody or in your own profile menu, and there's a bunch of different ways you can obtain them. I should have probably hopped on one of my main characters that actually has some profile banners unlocked, but this is what it looks like. Go to your profile screen, hit change banner, and then you can pick from that. This is the default for NC. I bought the Pride one because I had to via contract with Future Crew. You can buy other ones for station cash here, or you can also earn them as for instance, in the Holiday Bundle, which I'll talk about, that Season's Greetings one comes out. If you complete the Holiday Directive, which I'll talk about, there's another banner there. For Weapons Directives, you can earn them in the Expert Carbine banner and Master Tiers, Master Carbine banner, just as an example. So there's a bunch of different ways you can earn them, and you can change them in there, and it's just really an additional cosmetic / EPeen sort of thing. I don't know what the deal is with the Team Meow and the dog, the cat and dog ones. Somebody who frequents Reddit more than I do, which is almost never, may know more than I do about that. They were purchasable yesterday when the patch first came out, and now they no longer seem to be purchasable. You can grab them under the utilities section of the depot. So I don't know if they went in by accident, they were pulled, I don't know what happened with that. But if you did manage to grab one, I grabbed one just because I was like, cats, awesome, I have to buy this. And then I realized at a later date that I could no longer see the dog one. I don't know the details, but if you know more about it, you're welcome to mention it in the comments section, as to whether or not they were intended to be in or if they're going to be used at a later date. But they're pretty awesome either way, so I hope that they stay for what that's worth. Moving along from that, I'm glancing at Twitch chat at the moment to see if anybody has any insight on those. But anyway, moving along. Oh, there's some new key reminders when you enter a vehicle or switch classes. They pop up in the top right-hand corner of your screen just to give you like quick key binds for new players and things like that. You can turn them off in the interface section by unchecking the tutorial thing if you don't want to see them each time you switch class or vehicle. And then, of course, much like the Halloween event, they added a holiday directive, which I just glossed over real quick, and I'll show you what that looks like in a second. But first, I'm going to just go through some of the holiday stuff that was added so that makes a little bit more sense. Snowmen are spawning again on ItZMuRdA. If you were around last holidays, it's basically the same sort of thing. Or if you were around recently for the Halloween pumpkin event, it's not quite as crazy as that was. It's not tied to alerts. They're up at all times. They're actually also spawning stone versions of them on Indar, Emmerich, and Hassan. They're not quite as frequent, I would say, as the pumpkins, because the pumpkin spawn rate did get pretty high after a while, after a bunch of hot fixes, just since they were, only up for alerts, if you will. But they're not so bad to find. The Golden Snowman, much like last year, rewards a Golden Snowman hood ornament for your vehicles if you do find one and kill it, as well as a large chunk of EXP, much like the Galactic Lantern in that sense. And EXP is shared with all squad members within 300 meters. So if you're farming them, that's kind of a good incentive, I guess, or even if you're just playing casually, for that matter. Anywho, beyond that, there are a bunch of new holiday items, including this bundle that contains all of the holiday hats, which give you a 50% EXP boost for the season, much like you got a 10 to 20% EXP boost from the Halloween helmets, if you're familiar with that. The new Icy Kill knife, deep freeze pistol from last year, if you didn't have that, the snowball gun, 14-day squad EXP boost, first time we're seeing that, 50% EXP boost to yourself, 5% to your squad mates, the Season's Greetings profile banner that I showed you, and a digital snowflake hood ornament. It's a really good value for only 1,500 base station cash. So we'll show you guys that here in a second, along with some of the other items. So I guess hit the depot first. You can go right here to the second tab, click this. You can see the hats and the Icy Kill by themselves, or the holiday bundle, $14.99 base or $13.49 with membership. And you get all of these things. You get the Season's Greeting banners, you get that 14-day squad boost, you get the knife, you get the NS hat, as well as the VSTR and NC hats. Of course, they're only usable during the winter season, just like the Halloween hats were, but they do give you a 50% EXP boost on top of your existing membership or otherwise boosts, which is, I think, a great benefit. Snowball gun from last year, and a digital snowflake hood ornament, which is new for this year as well. For only $13.49 or $14.99 station cash, I think it's a really good value. Even just the EXP boost alone is nice. And that goes hand in hand with the directive over here, which is similar to the Halloween directive, except much, much easier to complete. Should only take the average player maybe a few hours to fully complete the master tier of it, as opposed to weeks and days and months for the Halloween directive. You can probably do this in under an hour if you're very efficient about it, if I had to guess. So I'll be doing it on my stream over the coming days and weeks on a few different characters. So if you want to tune into that over at ItZMuRdA.com, you can see me go through it. But the 5 things that you have here are snowman kills, golden snowman kill, special delivery, which is killing people with C4. The C4 have, if you've seen them, they look like presents, and they blow up, wow, in a present-like glow of holiday colors. Whoops, didn't mean to tab out yet. So C4 kills, kills while wearing a hat. Thankfully, it doesn't have to be on enemies that are wearing a hat. I think that was the biggest frustration of the Halloween directive, so I'm glad they heard that. And Sleigh Ride is road killing enemies while any holiday vehicle cosmetic is equipped. When I was messing around with that, I had a little bit, I don't know if it's a bug, I don't know if it's been fixed, I don't know what the deal was with that, but when I put on the digital snowflake ornament, which was in the bundle, I wasn't getting credit all the time. So what I ended up doing is I had the golden snowman ornament, from last year. Some of you may not, but you might have, the general ornament or something along those lines. But I ended up putting the golden snowman on. I don't have it on this character, as well as the ribbon bow from the second tier of the directive, just to try to get as many holiday cosmetics on as possible to make sure I was getting credit for those road kills. The rewards, 10 certs for the first. Notice that there are not any directive points for these, unlike the Halloween directive. It's probably a good idea if they're going to make them seasonal. They don't want folks who participate in this season to have an unfair advantage of more directive points than others. So I can understand that. But you get 10 certs, 20 certs, and then a holiday bow ornament, essentially, for... Actually, I don't think it's classified as an ornament. It is a exterior item. But either way, for all of your vehicles, along with 20 certs. And then 40 certs, and if you didn't buy an Empire-specific holiday hat from the bundle, you would get, one of those as well. If you did buy them, then you get the EXP boost. That's the difference. If you get it from the directive, you don't get the 50% EXP boost, but if you buy it from the depot, you do. And then the Master Tier, 100 certs, Happy Holidays banner, the Cold-Blooded title, and a Araxium version, like an Araxium upgrade of your holiday hat. But anywho, yeah, BB's running around somewhere. But anyhow, if I was to make suggestions, I'd say C4 is probably the easiest thing to do, to just get one C4 kill to finish the first directive. That's really easy. Then for the second one, I think it's 2 C4 kills and maybe 10 or 20 kills, just normal kills while wearing a hat. That's really easy. When you get into the third tier, I'd recommend doing the C4, which I think is only 4 C4 kills, and again, like 20 or 30 kills while wearing a hat. And then you start getting into the either hunting for snowmen, or if you don't want to hunt for snowmen, doing the sleigh ride and road killing, just finding a Sundra or whatever, putting a holiday bow that you earn from here on your harasser and just running people over. You should be able to get that knocked out pretty quick. And then for the last tier, obviously you're going to want to go for all but the golden snowman, since that's kind of the harder one to farm. If you happen to get one, great, it'll knock that out, so you don't have to worry about one of the other ones. But that's kind of my recommendation, at least for running through it pretty quickly. But like I said, I'll be doing it on stream, so let's see how that goes when we're doing it over the next couple of days here. Moving on from that, I think I went over everything I wanted to say about that. I kind of went a little bit out of order. I'm pretty happy with it, though. It's a nice balance of last year's holiday event and what they learned from that and the Halloween event, without going overboard and being super grindy, still having something for folks to do, as kind of like a seasonal, cosmetic oriented sort of thing. Oh, that's what I wanted to do. Aha! The 12 days of camo are officially over, but you can find that in here if you didn't participate, or if you forgot to on any one day like I did on this day. I was logging in remotely when I was on vacation to buy these things. They now expire in 6 days, 6 hours from this, which is, I believe, roughly Christmas Day. So you can go in and pick up any of these camos if you didn't get a chance to get them before they expire for the year, at least. They may come back next year. They are all full price now, I believe, which would be 500 station cash or 450 with the membership discount. But if you have been buying them over the past 12 or 13 or 14 days now, you were able to get them at half price when they first came out. But just to give you guys a heads up that they will be expiring in just under a week, so if you did want to pick up any of them, that's where you can get them in the depot. Moving on from holiday-related stuff, you've got some significant changes to implants. I'm not going to read through every single thing, but basically they added Tier 4 to implants, so it's not just 1, 2, and 3 anymore. It's Tier 4 that has a cost of 1.25 energy per tick, and they've adjusted costs and rates and percentages and all sorts of stats across the board to make it sensible for implants to have 4 tiers instead of the previous 3, or in some cases some only having 1 tier, which you've seen added, like Battle Hardened Tier 2 and Tier 3, and Clear Vision Tier 2, and I'm assuming 3, that's a little backwards, all the way up to 4, of course, and EMP Shield as well. I think a few of them still stayed the same, where it didn't make sense to have multiple tiers, like Marker, for instance. I think it's just Marker 1 now, and there's a few others like that. And then this goes through some changes. Basically, the original Battle Hardened, since that's the one that I use a lot, was giving you 75% flinch reduction and 50% camera shake reduction. That's now reduced to 60 and 35, but Battle Hardened 4 is a slight upgrade over the old Battle Hardened. Why did I just lose sight of where it is? Am I crazy? I might be crazy. There it is, 80 and 50, so you get 5% more flinch reduction over the existing Battle Hardened as a means of making it, I guess, a fairer sort of situation, a more balanced sort of situation. But I think the implant system, unfortunately, and a lot of people know that, is a little bit of a hassle to upgrade all your implants and to click them all into the slots and then construct, and the animation plays, and it's a lot of time invested, and I know SOE wants to clean that up, but nonetheless, if you have some downtime, you may want to start upgrading some implants to grab some of the new tier 4s, as well as even some of the tier 2s and tier 3s that weren't available prior, like Battle Hardened. But just so you guys have a heads up on that, all of these numbers are here in the patch notes, which is always linked in the video description. I wasn't planning on this being such a long video. Surprise, right? Just read through a few other things pretty quickly. Some balance changes. Red dot sights added to all NS pistols. I probably should have grabbed a pistol for you guys to see that, but I neglected to do so. DevHacks. Where are you, pistols? Commissioner. Here's all the NS sights, 1X and 2Xs, if you're interested. Obviously, alright, whatever, I don't... Looks pretty cool, I think. Definitely helps, even though the Commissioner still kicks quite a lot. On a gun like the Commissioner, for instance, I certainly think having that sight, and a lot of you may prefer a 2X for it, for example, is something that's worthwhile for sure. In addition to that, spiker clip size increased from 14 to 16. Some Banshee nerfs. I'm not going to read through all of it, but Banshee was arguably overpowered as of late, and bringing that back in line across the board with some of these changes, as well as Vulcan changes to the Prowler and the Harasser versions a little bit separately there accordingly. You can also now ban players from squads and platoons, which doesn't allow them to be invited or join the squad off of a list. You can clear it, of course, as well through the UI. And you can also hide certain HUD elements, such as missions, or group login notifications, outfit login notifications, implant drops. If you were getting spammed with things that you didn't really care about before, you can go into, I believe, interface settings, yeah, and toggle all of this stuff off like we were talking about before, tutorial and hints, or loot drops, outfit logins, group logins, and so on and so forth. You can customize that a little bit more, so some of the stuff that you don't really care about all that much isn't on your screen at all times. They also made some slight changes to building interiors, both in textures and colors, to assist picking out players against the walls, as well as the VS character, base texture, and tint pattern. You'll notice on some of the armor, I think that's also noted down here in miscellaneous changes, looks a little bit different. In the depot, you'll notice some new helmets. The no helmet helmet is now available, so if you don't want your character to wear a helmet at all, you can grab that under infantry gear. Here it is. Surprise, it's just your character without a helmet on, but a lot of people have requested that over time. I'm surprised that it's 5,000 certs, but it is what it is. That is there if that's your thing. And hard light helmets to match the, or at least be similar to the hard light armor that came with the 2-year anniversary, also available now in the depot. This isn't going to look so good since I don't have the camo on there, but you get the idea. Profile banners we already went over, as well as the holiday items, and there is a Canada decal and a Poland decal, alas, as well. Beyond that, miscellaneous and bug fixes. I'm not going to read through everything in here. A lot of just small changes, visual components to various vehicle upgrades and items and things like that. I thought there was something in here that I wanted to mention. You can now use your country flags as outfit decals. I saw a few of those on the map already. And then you've got also the VS armor changes that I was talking about. Small shoulder pads to VS Engineer, Medic, and Light Assault. VS Max composite shoulders, full camo, heavy armor, more tintable areas. You'll just notice a few changes to the VS look, and I think they were talking about changes for TR and NC going forward as well. Not going to read through all of the bug fixes, but there are a handful of good ones in here that I went through. But as I said, feel free to read through them if you need. The PS2 issue tracker is helping immensely. You've got a lot of those codes in here, so thanks to everybody who's contributing to that. Yeah, I mean, I think that's about it. Even though this video is like 20-something minutes long, I feel like I forgot to mention some things. I don't know. I'm crazed anymore. I can't believe it's less than a week till Christmas, and you know, other holidays already among us. So that's awesome. Really glad that SUE got this patch out before their holiday break, and I'll be streaming it over at ItZMuRdA.com tonight if you're watching live. Tomorrow, Saturday the 20th, as well as Christmas week. I'll probably be doing some sort of giveaways over on the channel. Don't know exactly when yet, but sometime during the Christmas week, as well as L2PS2 returning on, what is it, Monday the 22nd, I think, over on the PlanetSide 2 channel at 9:30 p.m. Eastern. So I will see you guys there, as well as on my stream. As always, let me know what you guys think of the patch, and what you're excited about, what you're mad about, what you're looking forward to, and enjoy the holidays, everybody. Have a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and everything else. Just, you know, happy holidays to all, and I wish you all the best. I'll see you around on the stream. Take care.